Hi, I'm Monica Cesarato, a food and travel blogger in Venice. Welcome to Venice Meets, a series of live chats from Instagram every day at 6 p.m. CET.
Today, I will be talking to Susan Van Allen, author of 100 Places in Italy Every Woman Should Go.
Let's not. There she goes.
Ciao,
Welcome.
Bella.
I'm so sorry. I took over Cuomo. I'm sorry about that.
I know it's my morning Cuomo, but actually he was just starting with the press, so I got the.
Yeah.
He's on 8:30 till 9 my Pacific time, but no apologies necessary.
I hear he's got a lot of fans.
Yes, there's Cuomo-sexuals, they say.
Like you got Cuomo.
Hashtag Cuomo crush.
Susan, you got Cuomo, we got Zaya, and we got the Tose di Zaya, the girls of Zaya. That
Yeah. Well, Conte is not bad either.
I'm not into politicians. Okay, put it like this.
And I'm not. Italian men. I like them, but it's too close to family for me. In a way, my mother's side of the family is Italian, so I'm married. I don't know if he'll come out of the bedroom, but my nice Jewish boy husband.
So that I got to say, I find Jewish men so similar to Italian men, or at least of the concept of a family, and the very patriarchal way of controlling things and stuff. So I find very, very similar. So anyway, Susan, where did your love for Italy start?
Oh my gosh! Like
I know everybody's asking me these questions. I hate to ask that one. Then I'll ask you some others, but I know everybody asks this.
Oh no, I love to tell the story. It all started at a dining room table in Newark, New Jersey. My grandparents, I have visual aids, so my maternal grandparents, and the maternal side takes over. Let me just say my fabulous father's family was from Ireland and old America, and we would go there and eat ham and be very polite. But then there was Newark, New Jersey. So this is a picture of my grandparents.
Oh, yes.
My Nana and Papa in Naples. And so that's where all the big Sunday dinners were, with the lace tablecloth from Venice. I know, from Gesarun. I have the labels.
Wow.
Yes. And, it was just the pasta and the hands flying through the air and the opera in the background. And I knew, sitting on a telephone book at that dining room table and toasting with my glass, that this was the heart of Italy. And my grandmother, I'm going to take you on the long story because I love that we had the whole hour. My grandmother came from Molise. She was actually born in Bari because her father worked for the postal office, but she grew up near Campobasso in Vinciaturo in Molise. She came over when she was very young. My grandfather was from Potenza in Basilicata, and he also worked in a pasticceria in Napoli before he got on the ship when he was 18 and came to New York and then sent for all but one of his sisters.
Did they go through Alice then?
Yes.
Wow. Amazing.
Yes. And then he worked in a bakery in Little Italy, and then he became successful working in insurance in Newark. But so when he retired, they started to travel back there. And I'm all transparent with my age. 1957, the year I was born, they were traveling. They traveled back and they went to his place. But they were in Venice when I was born. And I have the cablegram that my Nana always apologized to me for all of her life sent to the Hotel Marconi in Milano. And she says she got this, and then she went running out and told all the gondoliers, Susanna is born, Susanna is born. So I always felt such a thing in Venice. And because I have had all this time, I have all of her letters from this trip.
Oh my God!
Yes, that started with like going on the ship,
Yes.
and they were of course in Potenza and in Rome, but they, you know, all these letters about when they came back. They were in Venezia.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
And Venice was always just this magical place to me because my grandfather then that was the one trip they took together. Then my grandmother was sick, and so but my grandfather would go back every year on the ship from Newark.
Oh,
And this I remember him bringing back to me. I've shown it to your
oh,
friend Marisa. It is
yeah.
a necklace from Venice that I got when I was 7 years old. And when
Oh,
I
wow.
was told that there was such a place where palazzos floated on water and purple birds were made, I said, oh, I have to get there, you know. So my house was just always filled with like postcards from Italy and, you know, artisan things from Italy. Years later, I got to get to Marisa Convento
Oh,
and
yeah, of
see
course.
her beautiful beads. I know, I see that. Right. So I was first captured by, you know, the food and the stuff. Yeah, it was just so amazing. This was also in my grandmother's house. This
Oh,
is an
beautiful.
inlaid wood music box from
From
Sorrento.
Sorrento? Is that from Sorrento?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
thought
it
so.
plays on the island of Capri where I met you. And we used to open and close it and open and close it, you know, as little kids. And
Beautiful.
now older, when I went to Sorrento, I thought this
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
is
Do you
this
know?
gorgeous?
You know one sad thing about Sorrento?
Yeah.
That the majority of shops that make that have closed.
Are close.
Because I went there in November with a friend of mine,
Yes.
and the 2 years before, so we went November 2019, so it was 2017. She went there, ordered a box, it never arrived. But you know, she got very upset. So when she came back to Italy, she said to me, "Oh, Monica, would you come with me to Sorrento so you can give, you know, go for a little break, and then we
Yes.
can see what happened to my box." And when we got there, we found out that the majority of factories have gone.
This one still exists, let me tell you.
Is that one
I
in the
was,
main, in the center?
yeah, it's not in Piazza Tasso. It's actually on Via Cesario, you know, on the shopping
Okay.
street,
Okay.
Gargiulo. It's been around since
Okay. Yes.
1936. It's the father and son. And, you know, they still do this beautiful, beautiful
I know.
work. It's just amazing. You know, they also do the decoupage things just because they sell with the Disney characters. But this is really what this 80-something-year-old Papa does. And the wonderful Giuseppe is the same name as my grandfather. So I feel so family when I go there. And his son, Salvatore. But they are trustworthy and they have a website, Gargiulo.
Oh yeah, no, okay. I was very, how can I say, we were a bit upset in the sense that, you know, I knew that the boxes is one of the main thing from Sorrento, you know, is what is one of the beautiful things from the city. And then you speak in the shop and they say, no, so many of us closed because, you know, it just doesn't, you know, and it was,
you know,
it was only happening in Venice.
Right.
Sorry.
I see people coming in and then looking at the price and saying it's too much, but they don't look at the time that it takes. Even if, okay, I mean, this box was like 160 euros, but
That's
I mean,
that's not a lot.
The amount of time.
Yeah. And it's all
Come back to Sorrento. I mean, it is an heirloom. I'm going to give it to descendants, just like this was, you know, that other one, and it brings back memories. And so, you know, if you have something for 100 years and you pay 160 euros for it,
you know. So
Buon mercato.
when did you finally go to Italy the first time? How old were
Okay,
you?
so I was I guess I was 18. I took a gap year before it was fashionable in between high school and college, and I worked at America's Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yes, and
Okay.
babysitting, and I saved up all my money, and it was the days of backpacking in Europe on $5 a day, and so I remember so clearly it was August when I got to Rome, Roma Termini, like sweltering.
Oh,
Yeah,
so hot.
but I mean, to me, it was like the most fantastic. Like, no one told me not to go in August. I didn't even if they said it was bad, I would say,
You would have
that's
gone anyway.
insane. It's the most amazing place. I remember just running up to the Vatican and running up to the Colosseum. It's like those postcards are real. It was amazing. And then I met my Italian cousins. They some of them lived in Rome and Air, and they took me in and they took me to their table, and it was the same, the same style of food as my grandmother. It's amazing. It was just like the ragu and the warmth and the it was just, I felt so at home. I felt so at home.
That little love. And
Well,
how did you get into writing then about Italy then?
right. Well, I'd always loved writing. I was writing for television. I wrote on the show Everybody Loves Raymond, a television show, and I wrote for theater before that. And every chance that I could get, whenever I had extra money, I would travel to Italy. And I loved always reading books about Italian travel, from like D.H. Lawrence in Sardinia, and of course Francis May to come later, and any magazine articles or anything. So what a dream! And when I had time, and it started like in early 2000s that. I remember my first article that was published was called Hungry for Italy. I was in between television jobs. I didn't know if I should go, but I was really missing it. And I just wrote about that feeling, that we have. Well, it's different right now, but just about wanting to make a plane reservation, or maybe something else is going on. And then when it was published on a little website, I can still remember that feeling of it coming out to me like, wow, I can write about something that is so close to my heart. So that's when I started. And then I started writing more for magazines and, getting a little pro about it. Look at my roots. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, and then and traveling there more and just asking more questions, I meet a lot of women traveling by themselves. As I was traveling sometimes with my husband, sometimes with girlfriends, but so I would, and we would talk about how much they loved it, and they would say it feels like home, and I'd say, well, yes, paisan, and they'd say, no, we don't have Italian blood, but Italy, as soon as we land, we feel like we are at home. And so I started to research this, and I realized that yes, if you land in a place that has Madonnas all over the place and has Venus all over the place and has been worshiping female since the earth was cooling, it feels pretty good. We feel at home there. And
Do you think also maybe because compared to other countries, when people travel to Italy, they feel, I'm just saying, I'm asking because of course I'm Italian, so I have an Italian view of it. Well, that is totally different, right? But do you think it's because women maybe feel, apart from men hitting on them and stuff like that, that's another story.
Oh yeah, being adored was nice too.
Feel safe because of this family and social life kind of life that we have in Italy. Could it be that as well?
Yes, you feel embraced. I mean, okay, there is also the flirting man that of all ages, and the worship of them. And when it's done properly, it is awfully nice for us.
Makes it feel good when it's done properly. The problem is they lose me. I got to say, sorry girls, 50 down, Italian man lost it. Sorry, got to say this. Trust me. Oh yeah. 50 up,
No,
maybe 50
but
down.
I mean, the generosity of spirit is amazing. I mean, take, for example, Miss Congeniality of Venice, Marisa Convento, who has this beautiful bead shop. I know she's your dear friend, and actually, uh, I
She
di-
doesn't ever shop
di-
anymore, Susan. She doesn't ever shop anymore.
I know.
But
But we
she's
spoke.
still selling, and her website is coming out soon. Don't fear.
Oh,
The
she will never
website is
stop
coming.
being
Oh no,
incredibly creative, you know.
oh no,
And
you
we
can't.
met at a party. We, this was years ago. We were dancing at a party. It was in a rental near Santa Barbara.
I'm
It was a
thinking.
party for a friend of hers who ran garden tours, a man.
Oh gosh, she's not watching at the moment, so I can't even ask her.
Yeah. It
She's
was
not
long
online at
ago,
the
but you
moment.
were there because you did some of the wonderful cooking. And Laura united us.
Oh yes, I remember Nancy Eckler.
Yes, there was a lot
Okay.
of drinking at the party.
Oh, okay, now got it. Oh my God, I forgot you were there as well. Oh Jesus, fuck. That
Oh
day,
my
all I
God.
remember of that party is me cooking a lot. So
Yes.
my memories of
Yes.
that party is
You're
a pile of
focused.
food. Yeah, is a pile of food that I cooked. So sorry, I completely forgot. Yeah, that was
No.
happening. I know that it was a good party.
Yes, no, it was a delicious party. Oh
Yeah,
my God. It was
yeah,
great.
Nancy Eckler, yes.
But for example, I just meet her and when she had the shop and I had to go to Orsoni, which is hard to find in Cannaregio.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I was just casually talking about her, about getting there and making sure she locked up the shop,
And she took
went
you.
on the Vaporetto with me, and took me to the door. I mean,
Yes.
it's amazing. It's
And their
amazing.
house
Yes.
is not that near. Is a good 20 minutes away from it. So that was very nice of her. Very, very nice.
Really, really. No,
No, I'm
it's
going to
just
say that there is one great thing about all Italians. It is true. Sometimes, above all in Venice, it is easier for us to take you to a place than try to explain you where
right.
the place is.
I understand.
Generally,
Oh my
generally.
God. I want you to just reach out your arm and pull me there. I had a dream about you last
Oh
night.
my God. Oh, I hope it wasn't a nightmare.
No, it was no, we were in the Rialto market
Oh,
and it was kind of like shadowy and stuff. And then we went to say goodbye and there was a hesitation and I hugged you goodbye.
oh. Okay.
And
Right now, after 60 days of no human contacts, I could do with one.
I know, but and I remember then when we separated, we were like, wow, like we have not hugged another person, and I can't imagine going to Italy without. Mwah,
Again,
mwah.
I don't know. Yeah, honest to God, I really don't know.
I don't know how that's gonna be.
I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't even want to think about it.
I
But I
don't
wanted
mind
to
not
ask you.
handshaking. I never liked handshaking
No,
anyway,
this is,
but I always loved.
I know. Listen, Susan, I wanted to ask you, since
Yeah,
you've been coming to Italy for over 20 years now,
40.
what's the differences you've seen as a foreigner when you come to our country? How has it changed Italy, in your
Well,
opinion?
it's so much more crowded. It's so much more. It's easier for Americans and for English speaking people, and that's nice. I just feel like that's part of the generosity too. I mean, it was kind of always that way in Rome, Florence, and Venice. But for example, I go to Ischia a lot, where they have the spas. And even when I started going there in like 2015 up until 2017, all the spas would just be in Italian and German, the menus and all that. And they just started maybe in the past 2 or 3 years to be more welcoming, which is wonderful. And I think that there has been a lot of improvement with just the way the museums are set up
Mm-hmm.
and labeled, and that's really great. I remember just being shocked the first time I went into the Forum, I don't think you even had to pay, right? It was the Roman Forum. It was just like Central Park or something like that. You just go in at night with a bottle of wine, you know. So, so I think that's great, you know, just that, and the improvements to Pompeii have been fantastic. The more houses open, and you know, they've done a really, really great job, and yeah, there's so many treasures there, and I know that it's difficult to keep everything up, and then to keep it handicap accessible. It's just the welcoming spirit of Italy, I think, has expanded. That's the upside. You know, the downside, which hopefully will be more controlled after this, is that there's too many tourists, and even with, for example, my last trip to Florence, yes, the Uffizi is letting people in by reservations, but it was too big, and that has just got to be controlled. And so, you know, totally. I'll make reservations further in advance and go when I have more room. That'll be wonderful. It'll be wonderful to be back.
Yeah. Oh no, don't tell us. Don't tell us.
Yeah.
Listen, so when you wrote the book, what was that, 2012, 2010? What was that?
This one, the first one was, came out in 2009.
Oh, 2009. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I even wrote a blog post. Oh my God, it's 2000. That's 11 years now.
Sweetheart,
oh, wow.
I know. Okay. It goes by. We're doing a 10th anniversary edition was going to come out in June. Now it'll come out in August. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
How hard was, because, you know, you had to, you know, pick the places and stuff.
Oh.
How hard was it to opt for some places rather than some others? And how did you pick them? With what, you know,
right.
which
you know, it was a different time, you know, in social media, and even I think Facebook hadn't started. So, I mean, I immediately knew that I wanted to do certain historical places, churches dedicated to female saints, Santa Maria churches, all that, the shopping. But I also wanted it to be a conversation. So this is so old-fashioned. I sent out emails to friends and said, you know, and gave them a whole questionnaire to send back to me, like what are your favorite beaches? Where do you like to shop? Where do you like to go to the spa? What books in Italy do you like to read? What historical spots and gardens? And so I took all that in also. And so it was interesting you know, that way I got introduced to a lot of places, because, you know, I still am discovering Italy. We still are discovering Italy, right? And so I apologized in the introduction that I couldn't put in all the places that I would love to. That's like the best that I can do.
Otherwise, instead of being Hey, Susan, instead of being 100, it would have been 1,000 places.
Or a million, yeah. You know, and I, you know, put in all the resources at the end of the good websites, like, you know, monicacesarato.com is there, so that, you know, people know how they can keep up to date, because the book, you know, is published years before, so that. But I think what's fun about it, and different than other guidebooks, is it's done by mood. So it's like, you know, go where women are worshipped, and then it'll have the Venus temple in Erice, and you know, Santa Maria Formosa dei Miracoli in Venice, and then it will have where female saints like Santa Cecilia in Rome. And we're getting such nice hearts here. It's so nice to see people joining in. And then like where people live, like I love the Peggy Guggenheim Museum in Venice. And just, I mean, as wonderful as the collection is, just to go there and imagine her life there is just so wonderful. And to read her biography or autobiography. And then we have the gardens. Oh, this is the first spring I have not been in Italy in I don't know how long.
Oh my God. So, two things, two questions that I've asked
Okay.
Kathy from Dream of Italy. Number one, your favorite spot in Italy?
Oh, come on. That is the hardest.
I know. You're allowed to. You're allowed to.
Oh gosh. Well, no, I mean, really, it would always be like the last place that I was. It's like, oh, I love that so much. I don't want to leave it. And that this time, where was I in? I was in Venice. I was in Liguria the last time. I was in Santa Margherita, Ligure, and that is a beautiful seaside. I love all the places that have water around them. There's a lot of them, and those are.
Well, Italy's easy. Italy's easy as long as you don't go to Umbria and you don't go to Val d'Aosta or Trentino.
Yes. Yeah, and I do love Umbria.
More or less, you're doing fine.
I mean, the sunsets in Umbria are so incredible, and the food and St. Francis Assisi is just amazing, and the spiritual sense of being there is just the silence of Umbria is amazing.
And also want to know one place in Italy that you haven't been yet and you're really, 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 really dying to go to.
Right. I just thinking a lot about the north, in not a happy way these past. I've never been to Trieste. I'd love to get.
Oh my God, that is beautiful. Oh gosh, and there's so much to do in Trieste, and also there is a castle, the Miramare Castle, and then you literally a stone from Slovenia. So it's a beautiful, one of my favorite places.
And the coffee houses and the literary tradition of James Joyce and all that. It's just, I mean, that has to be on my list. It's and it's by the water. So
you're gonna have to write another book then. 200 places to go to Italy.
I know. I mean, it's never ever ending. Just the things to write about Italy, and I just feel so fortunate. Then I also wrote this 50 places in Rome, Florence, and Venice, which took some from here, but then did some more side trips like Asolo in north of Venice, which has all that Eleanor Duse and
when you went to Asolo, did you go to the Rocca as well at the top?
Yes. So amazing. It's
actually funny you say, because I don't know if I posted yesterday or today, a picture of the last time I went to Asolo. It was last year, and I went to a beautiful restaurant called Domori. That's got a beautiful the dining room. Practically, they have a big bay wing, a big massive window from top to bottom, and they're on a cliff. So you're actually sitting with the view of all the hills of the area of the Montello and Asolo, and it's like, oh my God, it's beautiful. And it's really, because Asolo is really visited by locals. I mean, all of us, at least once a year you go for a day trip and stuff like that. It is visited by some tourists, but very limited number. And I love it because it's got all the little, you walk underneath all the little streets with all the little artisan shops and the cafe.
And they have the antique market. Yes.
The Caffè Centrale, I remember you go there when I was about 12, 13 or something like that. I went to work for the summer in this it was a beautiful villa that our local church was actually using to send all the people for their holidays. So they will stay there for like a month for free.
See, you know how to travel. Yes.
Wait, So I was there. They called us young people if we could go there and entertain the old people. So we were getting free food, loads of free time because they were old people. They were in bed. Okay, so all you had to do was do a little bit of entertainment in the afternoon, do a little bit of entertainment in the evening, and by 9 o'clock we were done. So we used to walk with my friends to the cafe, and we used to spend a whole summer I spent in the cafe eating. Wait, listen. They made, and they still do it. It's called Coppa Denmark. So it's an ice cream, free flavors. You pick the flavors, and they pour on top pure chocolate. So what happens when they serve it to you, the chocolate solidifies. So you get these free, huge, hard chocolate balls filled with ice cream. It was interesting because I went back last year with my friends and I thought, I wonder if it still exists, if it's still doing it. And now we walked in and the cafe looked like 20, 30, 40 years ago. And they still did the same things. It was like, oh my God. I'm like, echo. That is the things about that as an Italian, I truly appreciate about Italy. When it's still there, that if you need to go there and find exactly what you found 40, 50, 60 years ago, when you were a child. That's so, but, gives you, and it was exactly the same feeling, the same people, the same owners, the pictures were.
I have to say, I love, the classic things in Italy. Sometimes I'll go there and a tour guide will say like, oh, there's a new restaurant that's doing some fusion. I said, that's not why we do that in America for a reason, but you don't have to just, maintain the traditions. I just love it. I mean, just like in Florence, I mean, how amazing is the Cafe Florian? I mean, it's just the oldest cafe in Italy, right?
It's the oldest cafe, definitely in Europe, if not in the world, but definitely in Europe. It actually used to be the second because the Café Royal in Paris had the record for it, but because they changed from cafe to restaurant, then automatically Florian became the oldest. So that's fine. And I just hope, I sincerely hope to all the restaurants in Venice, I wish them all to be able to open without any problems, because right now I think the major problem for Venice is not that people they want to open, we're ready to open.
Right.
How? Because maybe in other parts of Italy where spaces are bigger, you can handle the social distancing. But in a city like Venice, when it's so concentrated, I don't know how we're going to do it. Yes, so that will be interesting to see how I don't know. I'm going to be talking next week to the owner of Alcovo, Cesare Benelli. So that's one thing I'm going to ask. Yes, so it's nice to see take on this and see how, if he's talking to other restaurant people, and to see what they're coming up with. Because, I think
people are becoming, new ideas are coming in all the time. And so we'll see.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a problem all over the world, I mean, big places obviously is easy, but you have place, you reduce the number of tables, you're still reducing your number of people coming in. So it's a problem for everybody, really. So,
but Florian has that beautiful outdoor space.
Yes, I think that's what. I think that's what the bigger cafes in St. Mark's Square. Obviously, they have that advantage, but still, we'll see. They talk. I know that they were asking the government for at least 6 months to take away the open, because in Italy they charge you a tax if you have a table outside because you're using public soil.
Oh, I see.
I'm not so sure if you pay the table or for space, okay? So I think what we're doing, we're trying to ask the government to, for 6 months, to stop the tax, because of course that's going to be the only way we're going to be able to, offer service. So we'll see.
Yeah.
On the 18th, so we officially going back to normality. So we'll see.
Like museums will be open. That'll be amazing. I mean, you are
I don't know, but
teaching us a lot.
Sorry?
Italy is teaching us a lot.
I hope we're teaching right and we're doing it right. I'm actually going to say, I didn't think we will be able to handle it the way we did. Because, we're Italian. We are not known for being
I know. We are very, very proud of how seriously everybody took it and how beautiful. And, it stopped now. I'm sleeping better and having nice dreams. But I would get up in the middle of the night and I look at the graph, and the graph of Italy is really so scientifically nice. I mean, right. Okay, it went up, but then it went down. Now the U.S. graph is not going like that.
No, and it also depends on.
It's still opening. The U.S. graph is up and down or flat. And so I feel like we need to wait. But Italy went up and steadily down.
Isn't it also because in America, of course, you're all different states, and each state
I mean, it is a totally different thing. It's very, very different.
Down that way, though, shouldn't it really? Shouldn't it be that there was one
by state? Yeah, it's true.
So what's the situation in New York at the moment? Are you still on total lockdown?
Yeah, well, I'm in LA. New York is on. Yeah. So if you want to, so in LA it's until May 15th. So it's not as serious as Italy. I mean, we don't need a document to leave our house, and so people can walk a lot, which is kind of fun because. The cliche is nobody walks in LA, and I take a walk up in the hills here, residential area. And I've done that for years. Just it's part of my whole work day. And all of a sudden now I'm seeing people, we're all wearing our masks. Masks are, you can't get into a store without wearing a mask. The beaches are closed. Restaurants are open for to go and not all restaurants.
Yeah, like us.
So that's how it goes until May 15th. And then there's certain parts, California is a huge state. Yeah, there are certain counties that have no cases. They can open up. LA is the most greatly impacted right now. So we'll see. But it still is nowhere. I mean, like the deaths are under 3,000, whereas New York and New York City is like your Lombardia. It's heavily impacted, and it also has been going down, but more in a plateau style. Slowly, very slowly going down since about 3 weeks ago was the peak. Yeah.
Wow. It will be interesting.
So it'll be interesting.
And to see when everybody will be allowed to travel again. Because
that's true.
I know everybody says, we want to go to Italy, we want to go to Italy. I know the problem. My question is, I'm pretty sure we're going to be ready to welcome you all, but the problem is the rest of the world ready to travel? Because,
Right.
so, I think we just need a vaccine and then we're done.
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't know.
Right.
My take on it. So have you got a new book coming out?
Well, this came out. I have a couple of books that I self-published because I love to get essays out. So this one was a while ago, Letters from Italy. It's full of essays, and I use these little characters that I get in Naples, a little collection. And then this came out in February. It's recipes from Italy, little specialty things. And
I want to talk
making
about
sarde and sour. Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about that. Where did you get the recipes? Who gave you the recipes, and how did you do that book?
Yes, well, let's see. I got the sarde in sour recipe from Peccate di Gola. Do you know
Okay.
that cooking school, right? Because our group was too big to go to your cooking school.
Yes, yeah, I remember. No, I'm just
We
saying
had
in
14.
general. I'm just saying in general. How did you collect all the
Yes.
recipes?
Well, I mean, it started with my mother's meatball recipe, you know, and then the other ones, like the pizza recipe, was the kind of pizza that you make at home in Naples. Was from the B&B I stayed with in Naples, and then Bologna, I did the ragu, and I went to Cibo Bologna school, which
Okay.
is beautiful, and Milan, you know, cooking in Milano. Clara Raimondi, she gave me the ossobuco and the risotto, and then Sicily, I did a recipe for cassata, which was very, very hard. So I kind of took, you know, conferred with different people. It's kind of complicated, but you know, I want someday to do a book about the 20 regions. This is just 7 of them.
That would be
Stories
nice.
about me, you know, becoming obsessed with wanting to know all the history of pizza, the history of risotto, the history of cassata, meeting the people, and then learning about it. So that was really a lot of fun, and you know, there's been a lot of good cooking in these days.
Oh yeah. Don't.
I know.
I think it's like a ball. Everybody,
I know. I got to do more of that
everybody
walking.
was talking about cooking. I thought, no, I'm not gonna talk about cooking. Everybody's talking about cooking. I'm not gonna do it.
I know, and all those online classes, it's amazing.
I
I
know.
know. I love what you're doing, by the way. I
Thank you.
just think this is just a great thing to bring us all together, and yeah, it's great.
Well, as I usually say, it started as a joke with Marisa, and then all of a sudden it became something that, well, let's say it kept me sane for 60 days, you know, for all these days. It kept me sane. It kept me sane, and it was nice because, you know, not just staying positive as well, and it was nice to talk to so many people from all over the world, everybody connected with Italy, of course, but it was nice also to see that at the end of the day, we're all the same. It didn't matter what was talking to, what field they were involved, you know,
Right.
we're all, you know, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the living room.
Right. I mean, this is the advantage. We could get hold of everybody, you know. And I love all these. I don't know if you've watched. There's been a lot of musical.
Yes.
I mean, of course, the music in Italy was wonderful, but there's been in America a lot of, like, there was a Stephen Sondheim special. You know, I mean, and really great performers. But you get to see them in their homes.
Yes.
And you just get to see them very close up and intimate. And so
I like
to see that as an advantage of this.
Yeah, what I like about this is you get to see people as normal people. Over famous people, all of a sudden, yes, they're famous, but they're normal, you know. You see them talking with the wife, talking with the kids, and all of a sudden they're down a little bit from the, you know, from the, what do you call it, from the stage, and they're back. And it made them more human to me, and more, you know, and appreciating more, because, you know, at the end of the day, when you go in front of a camera, you kind of put another face. Here, somehow when people go in front of this camera or of a computer, they don't.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know. I noticed. That's my friend Sai. Hold on, sorry, got some questions. Do the statues from Naples have a special name?
Have a special name? No, they can all be found on a beautiful street called Via Gregorio Armeno. And it's a tradition that's been going on for hundreds of years. You'll find Ferrigno is the most famous, that makes the Christmas angels that you see on the tree at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. They have a whole Neapolitan tree. And so it started with the crash figures, but, you know, Neapolitans, there's no separation between holy figures and regular people. So you'll see soccer players, and you'll see, you know, these kind of people.
Yeah.
I have a whole cabinet full of them over there, and
Yeah.
it's just, you know, it's their colorful, wonderful spirit.
Yes, I love it. So, via Gregorio, Vetami,
Armeno, yeah.
where can we find you on social media if people want to?
You know, I tried to write my name back.
By the way, people, Susan has got a beautiful about her
where I talk about my what?
for 100 places. I loved it. I was watching it today. I thought it was very nice. It's it's
nice.
I think it's 2012 or something like that. But it was a beautiful video.
Oh, well, I was very proper, yeah.
It was very
But I know. Back then in 2012.
Okay, listen, Susan, thank you.
Yes, you know, because what came out of these books,
Go.
thank you.
No, we are
No, I was going to say what came out of the books.
Keep going.
We're going?
No, keep going.
Oh, okay. No, okay, well, I was saying what came out of these books is these trips, these golden weeks in Italy, where I take women. Here's the one in Venice. And we spend a whole week in one place. We don't go all the way around. You know, it's very immersive travel. We're going to see you. We have one planned for September. After we're going to see what happens with the film festival in Venice.
Yep.
That is going to be key, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the moment, they say it's on.
I know. That decision is going to be key.
Yes, I agree.
You know, their decision to delay was helpful. Okay, bye.
No. We having a difference in sound, so you hearing me after.
Oh, is there something I need to do?
No, I was just I wanted you to carry on talking. I didn't want to say goodbye yet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for having chat with me today.
Thank you so much for having me, and I just cannot wait. We're going to have that scene in the Rialto. It's not going to be a dream.
I know. I want to. And we're gonna try the Cinico.
Okay, I love that. Okay, be well.
Yeah.
And keep up the beautiful, beautiful work. It's really inspiring to all of us.
Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye. Ciao.